Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, capital markets analyst and host of your Cannabis Business Podcast. Today we're going to look at automating the cannabis industry from start to finish, from software, seeds, all the way to delivery. So starting off with full software automation, it's beyond just the time of day to water your plants. For example, if you're on a hillside, you're going to want to know just more than what time of day it is. You're going to want to know what the humidity, the soil moisture, the lumens, everything, right? So automating your software so that it's available on your POS, your phone, where there's conditional formatting. If events occur, solutions are already there and they happen. They just alert you on your phone. And if it's an advanced option, then you can say yes or no, and then it'll implement that right away. Either way, there's hardware and software out there. It's not fully commercial yet. There's a lot of glitches. So once somebody figures that out, the data they can extract from that, it's going to be huge. So moving on from software, let's go with beans. You're going to need an optical bean sorter to know which is the best bean to use or seed. And so this particular machine that I've seen for coffee will pull it out of a 55-gallon drum. It will look at it through cameras and then sort which bean is good and which one is not. So definitely want to start with something like that. Start with the best. Drones are a good way to deliver those seeds if you're outdoors, obviously getting a drone to fly around on a grid pattern to optimize those seeds so that you don't have to waste more money than necessary. This might be an interesting play for some of these larger outdoor cultivation facilities. I don't know how practical it is for indoors, but for outdoors, it would definitely reduce some of the time, as well as having a smart grid. Again, optimizing that would be a fast and fairly inexpensive way to start. If you're indoors, you have vertically integrated opportunities. There's also business integrated agriculture, but hydroponics might be a good way to automate that if you have good software. That's the whole key thing, because with hydroponics, you're going to have warmer air, you're going to have nutrients, you're going to have a lot more issues, and so trying to automate that is even more important. But you can get more product if you go vertical. It's used in some cases. I haven't seen it used in cannabis yet, but as space gets more limited in some areas, you have to go indoors. Somewhere like Florida that has a lot of humidity might need more indoors, might go with a vertical integrated hydroponic solution warehouse. And the other key too is getting robots involved. So they're going to have robots that deliver the pots, deliver the plants. So these robots are on the floor. I saw one here at the Lift Expo, just kind of driving around delivering a box. And so Amazon is famous for delivering these. There's these robots all over in China that help deliver and facilitate boxes. And so whether you're delivering plants or whether it's a mechanized arm that's watering, bringing nutrients, or with an optical lens looking to see if the leaf is toppling, which could be environmental factors, it could be nutrients, it could be a number of things. And so having artificial intelligence that gets smarter and smarter as time goes on is important to implement with that automation. But so here you're seeing an arm that can take clones from propagation, put them into these different trays. This uses 90% less water than traditional farming. So again, you're going to be spending more money, but the idea is to optimize, increase efficiency, and make a better product overall by eliminating variations. I don't foresee anybody in the industry getting one of these arms or fully automating for quite a while. This is an incredible cost initially to start up. So getting robots that can have an optical lens to look to see which fruit or vegetable is ripe and ready to be plucked, and then properly place that in a basket and do that automatically. Even nugs. There's an actuating arm that is grabbing these nugs and able to pick out and see which ones are ripe and which ones are not. So very minute, specific details. Again, getting that data to see what it's learning and how it's evolving is going to be key for this implementation. For an outdoor grower, you can have a self-driving combine. Probably not all that feasible. But eventually somebody's going to figure that out, right? So what you have here is a fully autonomous vehicle outdoor harvester, and they're they're not cheap to begin with. They already cost the price of a Lamborghini, so I don't even know what this is price-wise. But it's here. Point is, it's going to be fully automated from start to finish. That's kind of the point. The immediate implementation is not relevant. It's just the concept is there. It will be transferred. It will happen. So after harvest, you need to de-stem it. The munch machine is here. They're at the Lift Expo. And so that takes the stalk and the flower, separates it by putting it into a machine. That needs to be a little bit more automated. It's doesn't happen fast enough. If you have hundreds of thousands of pounds, this is not the solution for a fully automated process, but that's all we have right now. So that's kind of the point, is that some of it is crazy, like a self-driving combine, and some of it isn't fast enough. But in the next few years, as these companies continue to consolidate, as a lot of them go bankrupt, if they can, maybe once the U.S. can't, you're going to see a lot more people switching to a fully automated solution. So some of the Terminator machines, there was one here that's about 20 yards or so. It's huge. This is a teeny one. And so when you dump the cannabis in there, the tumbler turns and trims the cannabis. And so once it's all pretty, then you can grind that flour. And so grinding it is very specific. I've seen people use blenders, something that's meant for ice and a margarita. They're grinding cannabis with that, and it just doesn't work. I've also seen people pulverize it into like an espresso machine. So this Fritz grinder, it's a $30,000 grinder, but it's adjustable. And so I would go with something like this. It's going to take some time to grind it. It's not fully automated, but it's great. Obviously, you need to have accurate weighing, so having a multi-head check weigh system is crucial. Some pre-roll machines that are on the floor that are fully automated, some don't have the check weigh, but they do offer it. So I wouldn't even allow that to be an option. I would make it mandatory and just increase the price from $350,000 to $400,000. It's not going to make or break the deal, but a check weigh system is crucial. This machine is fully automated. It after it's ground, it's placed in these plastic trays and vertically dropped into a hopper. And so these pre-rolls are in a cylindrical carousel. They're being filled up, and the tops are being twisted. So you do have a checklist system available. This machine is at $400,000 and is fairly automatic. The cones are just placed in there by a person. The ground cannabis is placed in there by a person, and then that's it. So if you have 18 individuals on a pre-roll station, you can reallocate that human capital, hopefully to sell more pre-rolls, joints, blunts on the market, and start developing a national brand. But we haven't had people making pre-rolls or anything since the 1890s, maybe, when cigars were manufactured in the U.S. So the fact that there's still, dozens of people making pre-rolls in the U.S. is pretty crazy. I think that's going to stop 2020. You're going to see a lot more of these machines coming out there and disrupting the market at 50 cents, making a profit, while other people are trying to wholesale it for $1.74 and struggle. So that's going to be a game changer, complete domino effect. And pre-rolls are a fad, in my opinion. It's not the optimal draw. Big Tobacco already figured out the optimal draw. So you're going to see more blunts made with hemp or mint paper or natural unbleached white paper, as well as cylindrical joints. So eventually pre-rolls are going to become just a fad or a different segment altogether, as the optimal draw has already been figured out by Big Tobacco. The cylindrical joint is going to take over the market. So as more machines are available to do that, I think you're going to see a shift eventually, but probably not for a few more years. So this is a Bud Buster machine I saw at NJ BizCon in 2018. It's probably better for hemp than cannabis. They still haven't quite figured out that over-rolling technique, because the injection method just doesn't work. So at $60,000, that's an incredibly expensive grinder. Wouldn't recommend it. And the bobbin system, cylindrical joint machine is nice, but it still isn't perfected yet by this company based out of the Carolinas, although I would expect to see more. There are some proprietary systems. Green Revolution of Washington has their own cylindrical joint with a filter, but it looks like it's been pulverized. The cannabis looks like it's been ground too fine, It burned okay. I haven't smoked enough to know consistently how it works, but I'm not convinced that that's going to be the right grind and the right formula overall long term. Although I appreciate them making that machine themselves. There's been some issues with hemp pre-roll joints. You see people in odd places, like out in Pennsylvania. They want to make pre-rolls for the international market, looking for fully automated solutions. So there's been some investment, and yet there's 14 states that don't allow CBD. Washington just banned CBD drinks. California did that 2 years ago. So there's more and more issues with CBD, and I think we're going to find that the FDA isn't going to make a decision anytime soon. Although it's federally legal, there state by state are issues. So with pre-rolls, joints, and blunts, I think you're going to see some issues if you're going to do hemp, because smokable hemp has already been banned in some places. But long term, I think it's a decent play. You can always convert that to cannabis and white label that for somebody in your state who has a license. And so there's dual opportunities. I think blunts, hemp wrap blunts are going to be a huge market for California and Canada, but time will tell. So after product manufacturing, you're looking at packaging. There's going to be a lot of systems. There's tons here that you can see, from packaging, blister packs, automatic filling of vape tubes, cartridges, automatically twisting the tops. All of those things that used to be done by hand are being done automatically. So that's definitely going to reduce the labor expenses, bring that wholesale price down, and hopefully reducing the pricing, because the Canadian prices are ridiculously expensive. And that's going to include things like K-cups, anything that can be automatically done and packaged. Pre-roll machines are going to be automatically put into a tube and labeled. So all of those things that hadn't existed before for under $400,000 are going to be manufactured by local companies, rather than waiting for the existing tobacco ones to figure it out and convert over. There's just companies that are reinventing the wheel and doing it themselves rather than waiting. After harvesting, after manufacturing, you've got delivery. So that's going to be interesting. You can see that there's these automated drones and automated self-driving cars. So in California, they've been delivering groceries, and it's been a good pilot program apparently. So pizza delivery, groceries, now it'll be cannabis eventually. So these are on the ground self-driving vehicles. There was a report that came out that Seattle, somebody's working on a drone delivery, which is just PR, by the way. It's complete fabrication, because we don't even have delivery as an option in Washington State. A lot of these companies will just throw out some PR, probably looking for a capital raise, and just making it sound like it's a legitimate story. So look for self-driving, automation, delivery, look for drones eventually. But whether it's software, whether it's seeds, whether it's vertically integrated, growing, just farming in general, harvesting, product manufacturing, delivery, or even sales, look for data, right? So we interviewed Liz with BDS Analytics. Data is going to be huge. Drop shipping opportunities are going to be huge. Inventory control, using that granular data to look at flavor preferences based on specific zip codes, using e-commerce, utilizing virtual reality and augmented reality so that you can use your phone to look at a competitor and have somebody pop up and tell you all about that particular product. Or if you have somebody scan your product, then they will tell in whatever language, describe what that product is and does. So offering a solution to how to educate and sell, which is one of the most difficult things to do, is to educate somebody and then sell them on it. Rather than that, let the AR, VR do that for you. Use technology, use data to try and automate sales as much as possible. So when drop shipping, e-commerce, all of those platforms, all those options become available, you'll see a lot more people implement full seed to sale automated solutions. So with that, we're going to roll this one up. I'm Josh Kincaid. This is the Talking Hedge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't, and I'm out.